Now, eggnog is a very popular drink stateside in America. Might not be so well known around the rest of the world, but we're going to show you how to make it today. It's especially popular around Christmas time. People sort of go around to other people's houses and you get a glass of eggnog. Very, very delicious, very nice, and very sort of straightforward to make. So we start off by separating our eggs. And we're going to start off by whisking the egg yolks and some sugar together. We want to sort of make that double in volume and make it sort of light and fluffy and creamy. Now in America you can actually buy eggnog in the shops pre-made, but it's always as best to make it yourself fresh, because it'll always turn out much better. So once you've finished with the eggs and sugar, set those to one side. We're going to bring our milk up to the boil. We're also going to add our cream in there. The cream sort of gives it a nice sort of richer, thicker, nicer texture to the eggnog. So we're just going to sort of gently bring those up to the boil on a sort of a low to medium heat. We're also going to add in a little bit of honey, some cinnamon, a little bit of allspice and some nutmeg. That's what's going to give it that sort of really nice sort of wintry, warm, Christmassy flavor. We're also going to add in a couple of cloves, and we're just going to sort of gently simmer that and bring it up to the boil. Once it has come up to the boil, just remove it from the stove, and we're going to move on to the next process, which is sort of combining it with that egg and sugar mixture that we doubled in size earlier on. So to start off with, pour that in, just a tiny little bit, and what we're doing here is we're actually tempering it. Tempering means just bringing the egg yolks up to temperature. If you poured in too much hot liquid, what would happen is your egg yolks would have a tendency to just scramble and overcook, and you wouldn't end up with very nice eggnog. So pour the whole mixture back into the pot and whisk it together, and what you should have there is a lovely base to your eggnog. We're going to place that back onto the heat on a sort of a low to medium temperature, and it's very important that you don't leave that now, and just sort of simmer it until it starts to thicken up. And once it does thicken up and it sort of coats the back of the spatula or a wooden spoon, we're going to sieve it and remove all those sort of cloves and any little impurities left over from the allspice and the other spices that are in there into a bowl. So we now have what is essentially the base of our eggnog. We're just going to let that cool down. We're also going to add in a little bit of booze. We're using rum today. Lots of different varieties that you could use. You could use flavored alcohols, etc. But rum works especially well. And of course, if you're making it for kids, by all means omit the rum. But mostly with adults, it's nice to have that little sort of extra kick in there. Now, to make sure that our eggnog is lovely and light and frothy, we move on to the egg whites that we set aside earlier on. We're going to whisk those until they come together, and what we're looking for here is the soft peak stage. So you can see when you lift the whisk out of it that it just sort of stands up in a little soft peak. Now we're going to add that back into our cooled down mixture. Very, very important that it is cooled right down at this stage. I actually popped it back in the fridge for 5 or 10 minutes and just let it cool right down. And now we want to fold very gently our egg whites in there. You want to make sure that you keep as much air as possible in it, so don't go whisking it and beating it mad together. Just want that light sort of frothy mixture. Then we're going to pop it into our jug ready to serve. It really is a fantastic treat. If you haven't tried eggnog before, you really should go out and try it, because it's absolutely delicious. With that little bit of alcohol in there, it gives it that little sort of naughty kick. Really, really delicious eggnog.